Welcome to Decker Tech. I'm Aaron Decker, and today we're going to do a guide for Venomancer in Dota 2. Venomancer, where this is doing a support guide, can be used as a core, usually in the offlane in either case, pos 3, pos 4. This is for a support. Venomancer, you may know and hate because everyone gets frustrated playing against Venomancer, and the reasons why is kind of what we're going to get into here. It's because Venomancer makes you make poor decisions when he's your opponent. You think you can handle it, you commit to a bad situation, you're punished for it, and it is fantastic. So we're going to break this down into the laning phase, the mid game, and the late game on how to build and play at each stage of the game. So in lane, two powerful spells for Venomancer are going to be Venomous Gale and Poison Sting. Now Venomous Gale, it does basically double in damage when you get to level 2, but in this guide we're not going to go to level 2 in it. It is, if you're going for a first blood, this is the one you're going to pick level 1. I recommend it as level 2 just because it's very hit or miss. If you miss with it, it's just a long enough cooldown, like 21 seconds in lane. Without Poison Sting, Viper, like without this other ability, Poison Sting, Venomancer doesn't really do much in lane for their partner. As it is, Venomancer is a very weak laner, just overall. So, yes, Venomous Gale will help you get first blood, but you're going to be really gimped in lane until you're level 2 if you don't have Poison Sting, at least in my opinion. So, that's what we got here. But Venomous Gale, it's a super slow 50% and it starts to decay over time. So as soon as it hits them, they're half speed. So it's really good for punishing someone out of position or making sure someone can't leave somewhere. This is your best form of control you have at your disposal. It's not a major crowd control, but it is a fairly heavy slow, and it can hit multiple targets, and it is at range, and it can get pretty far range. So overall, it's okay. It's mainly just to be like, hey, you're in a bad spot. I would like you to stay in a bad spot. Yeah. Poison Sting. This one affects both you and your Plague Wards. We'll get into that. The Plague Wards get half the damage, but 100% of the slow. So the two good things about Poison Sting are, yes, it puts a dot on your opponent, which is really great for canceling, like, say, Blink Daggers or any other, canceling salves and clarities, making it so that they have to wait longer before they can pop it. You'll be surprised at how many people in lane will go to pop a salve and forget they have a Poison Sting on them, and it just goes bye-bye. I've seen many a person do that, and sometimes you just force them into that position. But so the damage part's nice, but the slow is noticeable enough, and because your Plague Wards inherit the slow, what's really nice is later in the game, not in the laning phase, you'll be able to place a ward at max distance, and then the Poison Sting will have a the ward will have a distance. You'll be able to slow someone from a full screen away, and it's pretty cool. But in lane, your goal here is to get Poison Sting ticking on the opponents, both of them preferably, but at least whoever if you're harassing the core or duking it out with the other support, try to keep Poison Sting on them as much as possible and take as little amount of damage as possible doing so. So Poison Sting at level 1 lasts for 6 seconds, level 2 lasts for 9. So what you want to do is you hit them and then you back away. You don't sit there trading with them, and I'll show you this in lane, or try to. You don't want to, like on a lot of other supports we've done, normally you'd stand there, you trade blows with your opponent during the duration of your spell, like a Jakiro or not a Shadow Shaman. There's someone else that has attack speed slow. Like any of these people with like attack speed slows or a slow on them, you normally want to hit them and keep chasing them like a dazzle. You want to keep chasing them. That's not the case here with Venomancer. With Venomancer, you want to hit them and run away. Like, unless you're going for the kill to efficiently trade, you hit them, you walk away, let the poison tick off on them, and then when it's about to expire, go hit them again and then come back. And the whole time, it's the longer it's ticking, the more advantage you're going to have on them. So in lane, we're going to aim for two points in this before we go to our wards, because like I said, the wards inherit the sting. So we want enough points in the sting that it's noticeable and lasts the 9 seconds. That's decently long time, and it's got that 10% slow. Poison Sting, we want it high enough that it's worthwhile to have it on the wards, and then we'll talk about it later, but maxing wards is very effective. So let's just get into the laning stage. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Oh, the one thing with Poison Sting. So, Poison Sting, your wards inherit it, and you have it. And it'll show both debuffs on the target if you hit a target and your ward hits a target. But only one of them will tick for damage at a time. So it'll always be yours. It'll tick for the highest amount. And if multiple Plague Wards hit someone, it only has one application of Poison Sting. So you're never going to have 2 or 3 stacks of Poison Sting on a target. Always only one. And if it's you, it's the full damage. If it's a Plague Ward, it's half damage. And really, Poison Sting at half damage is perfectly fine. You don't have to prioritize hitting people with you once you start having your wards. You just want to make sure that the Sting is active on as many targets as possible. So let's get into the video clip. And Venogale, so let's see. It starts at super short range, and that's one reason why I don't necessarily recommend it. It's kind of hard. It's like you have to be super close and commit with it. Later get longer range, but it's also one of those ones you got to practice with where the cast range is shorter than the travel range. So like if you cast your Poisonous Gale at max distance, it'll travel past max distance by about a single hero length. So let's see, player view, moi, and first one is 25 seconds after start. So, because Veno is a weak laner, it's very important that you coordinate with your teammate. Ideally, it should always be 2 versus 1, but in this case, I'm getting 1 versus 2. And I noticed that my Pango is not interested in joining this fight at all. And so, as you can see, I get shoved out of wave pretty hard. Pango gets a couple denies, and then they come back up and just harass Pango out of lane a little bit. So, you got to adapt to your situation. Ideally, the whole point is for me to sting both of them and be walking away and Pango to be harassing them. And, if the two of us could coordinate a lot better, it would be a better lane. But since I'm not going to get that coordination from the Pango here, I just have to play this differently. So I want to make sure that I'm taking as many 1 versus 1 situations with the Lich as possible, baiting the Faceless as far as I can. And eventually the Pango will be able to, it'll be an obvious enough situation that Pango will get involved, and or I need to make sure I'm doing it in lane if I'm going to try to take a 2v2. Like if they're both harassing me, I have to be as close to Pango as possible to make sure that we're on the same page about how this is going to play out. It was a long duration, but basically, Veno's super weak laner, shines really well when the two of you can get on a target together, but since you're so fragile and all you're contributing is a slow dot, a slow and dot, and a slow and a dot, like you don't have strong crowd control and you don't have burst damage. So you got to be very careful in your positioning and coordination with your teammate. So we could just watch the next 2 minutes here of me being very careful, fragile, trading with the Lich. But we're going to skip ahead to 2:55. So, been doing a lot of trading with the Lich. I'm super low. I'm hanging out by the tower as much as possible. And I can do this because I have the lane pulled back by the tower. I think I've gone through maybe 6 tangos by now. Here's tango's number... No, this has got to be the 6 tangos. This is my next set of tangos. Just keep buying regen, keep trading. Eventually get the Lich out of his regen. And he's kind of gotten used to the idea of me always being by myself and never getting help from Pango. So, if I can bait him into a good enough position here. Like, see, I hit him. And if Pango's going, I keep fighting. If not, or if I, for some reason, I thought Faceless was going to come over, I step away. But because both of these are dots, he's got a dot slowing him, he's got a dot slowing him. Like, he just can't get away from this Pango. So from his point of view, yeah, he nukes me. I get both my dots on him. My job is done. I don't have to sit there auto-attacking him anymore. Because my auto-attack is fairly piddly. And Poison Sting doesn't stack. So as long as I have one application going, it doesn't matter. So I got the Gale and the Sting, and it was safe for me to walk away once it was clear that Lich was going to die. Can't really watch it from my view. I gotta change this camera here. Because me as a player, I already knew he was dead. I didn't have to watch it. Me trying to show it to you guys is a different story. So, and that's just the plan. is I just keep buying regen. I eventually buy like 9 tangos. I don't recommend buying tangos past, minute 6 to 8, depending on how your courier is coming out to you. But I'd like to skip to the next kill. And you notice the game's fairly even. Our bot lane, I believe, is getting smashed, if I remember correctly. But I'm just harassing. I got a double gale, walk away. If we were in an aggressive position, I'll go up there and hit them both with my poison sting, but they can get on top of me really quick. So I want to make sure that I just harass them down. I want to get a sting on him, yep. So if someone's chasing you, you don't have to worry about getting, like, it's nice to get the sting on them and then have them follow you. But if you have to, just wait for them to start running away and then hit them on the way out. You just want to make sure you get that one tick. And so now that I've got these dots taking on Faceless, and I know the Tusk is coming in, we now have a very easy setup, because you notice when Tusk came in, the Faceless was down to half health. So this video we're going to be watching from the enemy point of view a lot. So this is him, fairly healthy. I get both dots on him. He walks it off. He walks it off a little too early, probably. But you notice he's ticked down here. He's at 2/3 health when that ice volley hits him, and we're both in position. I'm auto attacking on them to get this 10% slow on them, and that fight gets me enough experience to start working on my wards. So if you have any questions or thought on this so far, please let me know. I'm happy to hear feedback on what questions you may have, or what I'm not explaining well enough. So in the laning, 1-point Gale, 2-point Sting. I really recommend Sting first until you've practiced enough with the Gale. Gale's nice and all, but you gotta be keeping your opponents harassed. Like, if you're not, you're doing so much less when you don't have Poison Sting. So Poison Sting is really how we play the whole game of Venomancer. His ult's a big deal, but Poison Sting is a majority of, like, outside of your ultimate, Poison Sting is like 80% of your damage, if I remember correctly. It's a really big deal, and especially since it's going on the wards. So speaking of which, Plague Wards. Nicest thing about them is they provide vision. They are really good for scouting out the enemy team, warning yourself of where they're at, because not only do they provide vision, they attack at range, and their range attacks have a slow attached to them via Poison Sting. So I see you coming and I slow you, so it just gives you so much more response time for you and your team to be like, oh, someone's coming and they're a little slower, so we can react to it sooner. So you'll see, if we watch the whole replay, you just see me spamming Plague Wards everywhere at all times. Our itemization, I'll get to after we talk about the wards, is all about making sure I have enough mana at all times to place the Plague Wards. And let's see. Like I said, you can combine this with the Poison Sting, so max distance Plague Ward cast range will place a ward down, and then it has its own attack range, which will then sting someone. So it's really good for keeping someone slowed, like for chase downs, for runaways. You want to saturate the area you're playing in with Plague Wards so that your opponent can't move around as easily, because they'll be in vision and they'll be slowed. Let's see. Let's see what else. So when we scale this up, I thought I was going to talk about it in the video. I'll just do it now. The reason I'm maxing this to 7, and we're skipping our ultimate because of mana reasons, but the Plague Wards, we're not really interested in the ward damage going up. The mana cost goes up, so that's not a plus. The biggest benefit here is the ward HP. We want 120 hit points means you can get 2-shot by a carry in the early stages. 450, on the other hand, is a big difference. Also, you don't want the supports being able to kill these wards easily, because these wards are worth money. Not only do you want them in the area just so that they slow and give vision, but they give bounty to your opponent, and you don't want to give free gold to your opponents. So the reason we max this out to 7, or I highly recommend doing this instead of maxing Poison Sting, is Poison Sting doesn't really go up in value. Like, yes, if Poison Sting lasts for 15 seconds, it goes up in damage by a bit as it levels up. But honestly, you're applying Poison Sting so often between you and your wards that an average person in a fight is going to have Poison Sting on them for like 20 seconds or so. So the difference between 20 seconds and 29 seconds, which is, kind of what the difference would be here, isn't as big as what the tooltip says. So yes, Poison Sting on paper, when you math it out, works really well, but that's assuming just one application of Poison Sting. But we're applying it through ourselves, through our Plague Wards, and it's constantly being reapplied. That it's really just the DPS part that goes up. And so I think the 16 DPS is plenty fine. 16 to 24 is not as big a deal. And the slow doesn't go up by much. So maxing Plague Wards to make sure our opponent doesn't kill them and gets used to not killing them early on is very important. Let's see. So with these Plague Wards, now that I have them, I want to occupy, or I start skilling them up. I can either farm the jungle and farm camps, which is perfectly fine at certain points of the game, or depending on your comp and what's going on. Because what you do is you'll place a ward outside the box, you'll kite the creeps past them, because Plague Wards have such a low priority on their... So I just go in, get a single hit on him, walk away. Like, you can tell, if I'm going to harass someone at these early levels, you just get the Poison Sting ticking on them and walk away. Let it tick. It's perfectly fine. But now that I have these wards, I want to occupy the hardest spots on the map, the most difficult to play in. So top's going well. I'm 3-0 right now, right? Bot lane's been having trouble. Gonna come down and try to save him. But as you can see, I'm placing down wards in the area. Anytime the ward comes up, I'm just putting it down. I don't care. Yes, we get the kill here. Oh no, I died to Lina in this ult, but guess what? Check this out. I'm gonna get another kill. Suikoden. I got the kill, not him. So yes, it's... I stole the kill from Tess kind of thing, but the fact that this ward is here and that she was ticking down, like, I'm still contributing to the fight after I die. And that's something you'll notice with Venomancer, especially once you have your ultimate, that you'll get a lot of kills after you die. So you come in, you commit to a fight. If I had my ultimate, I'd commit it here. I don't. But the goal is I want to make sure that all my enemies have Poison Sting ticking on them, and eventually as many as possible have my Poison Nova ticking on them, so that they're punished afterwards for me being around there. Because you're very fragile, you're going to die a lot. And so what kind of a side effect of this is when you get these kills, you're going to end up with all the gold, but no change in experience. So when she dies, I didn't get any experience. I just got gold, right? My team gets the experience. I get most of the gold. So you want to be it's okay to be greedy with the Tome of Knowledge to make sure that you're staying in level with your team. You want to make sure you don't fall behind on levels, because a lot of your kills are going to be after you die, and a lot of the fights you're going to be the first one to die, or hopefully a lot of the fights you're the first one to die. You don't want to like suicide in, but a majority of the time you're going to fall pretty fast. That's just going to be the play style we're going. Alright, so that was that. Let's see. 9:45. So I went to go save him. I died. I come back alive. And bottom has been struggling. The game's even. I have 5 kills. The enemy team has 7. So where I've been has gone well, and where I've not been has not gone well. So I come down here, and I'm trying to kind of reestablish this bot lane. And you can see what I did first when I came here is I placed these wards, right? And normally, if you have these really good wards and you start walking away from your opponent when they come to gank you, they'll kill the wards. But see what happens is I'm putting my wards down. I see the clockwork. I act pretty normal. I place the ward sees him, and now I can act like I saw him a lot easier. This is super mind games, and maybe not everyone's going to follow what I'm saying here, but it's really cool because I have the vision on the person, and I can react like I have the vision on the person without giving away my ward. I see the clockwork here. I know, oh crap, I got to back off. I back off right away, but I give myself an excuse to back off by placing the ward. So the clockwork comes in like, oh man, he must have vision. And then the plague ward happens and it's like, oh, maybe he's just lucky, right? And so he doesn't even think twice about the fact that there are 2 wards in this area. There's that deep ward left over from the previous lane occupants, and then my own ward. And I just got to keep making sure I got these Venom ward down. I've got a couple over by the lane to see if I can get some kills, some gold, and or just to make sure they don't dive the tower, because I'm just trying to hold this area. There's 3 enemies here. There's a Snapfire and a Clockwork looking to gank me. I'm just sitting pretty in the trees, and if I'm just trying to make it so that they waste as much time here as possible, give space to this Juggernaut that fell behind, and the, who was his lane partner? Was it the, it's gotta have been the, oh, I can't even think of her name, Vengeful Spirit. So eventually they're going to back off, and I'm going to come back up to this lane. And every time they start backing off, I approach the wave. And anytime they come at me, I just back off a little, and I've got all these Plague Wards. And let's look at some of these interactions with them and the Plague Wards. So I said these good bounties, right? But if you notice, I can cast them faster than they can kill them. Okay, 3 hits, 17 gold. 17 gold is a decent amount, right? But I've already got a new one there. And this is without me having, I don't think I have it maxed. This is me at 2. Once I have it maxed, it's going to take them 6 hits to kill it. Snapfire is going to have to commit her 12-second Little Shredder to kill one, and or just waste so much time hitting it, and it's only worth 13 gold. Like, everyone gets super excited about, aha, Plague Wards, you're feeding them. No, you're not. If once you get this to level 3, level 4, it is never worth the opponent's time to hit them. Like, unless they're a Lina or someone that has super high attack speed and damage, it's a waste of their time to attack your wards. And every second they're attacking the wards is a second you have them in vision, you have them slowed, and they're not attacking you. So I'm just going to control this whole area, and I was supposed to have this at 2 times speed, because I stay here for a very long time. I just keep holding this area, because they keep committing 2 or 3 people. Whoops. And they committed 2 ultimates on me. I walk away. They're going to commit their mid on me to finish me off here in a second. And it's okay, because I'm going to trade for their mid. And since I've been holding it so well, and I have all these wards and vision, my team can respond. And the only reason I die is, let's be honest, my teammate killed me by swapping her over. I had the Gale missed because of that, whatever. But it allowed the team to safely rotate. This bot lane, they died, 5-6 times before that happened, right? This is me turning off the help action, because I want to make sure that I don't want to get swapped by this. Don't mind me. It's you gotta manage your teammates whatever best way you feel. This is not a teammates managing guide. But as you can tell, I held this position very well. It was really hard for them to approach me. I got a decent amount of golden experience while standing down here, and they committed 3 or 4 people to it. And now, this is no longer the dangerous lane, because our team teleported down here, and all their team left. So guess where I'm going to go? I just rezzed. I'm assessing the situation, making sure everything's fine, doing some shopping. And yeah, I feel safe going up here against 2 of them. And I'm just going to hold this area. Tusk comes in afterwards. I don't remember if we get a kill here or not. Let me look at my notes. Nothing, yeah, this will eventually turn into something interesting. So I'm in this area again. They're kind of scared away because of me. And, anytime I want to go forward, I'm always going to place a ward to the side to show where they're at. I see 2 of them here now. I've got Pango here. Let's commit. And this, I think, is my first ultimate usage. So, your ultimate starts at you and has a travel distance out. I don't think Faceless can blink through it. I think you can blink over it with like an actual blink dagger or something. I'm not 100% sure, because you can avoid Tide ultimates. So anything that you can avoid a Tide ultimate with, you can avoid a Venom ultimate, I think. I'd have to double check. I did the research the other day. It's been a couple days. But the nice thing is, oh no, we lost Pango. Crap, we lost, right? No. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh no, he died. And I think that one I actually get the experience for because I'm alive, right? Yeah, so you get the experience for it. So let's watch that from Faceless's point of view. Here, he's looking mid to TP. Oh wait, we go on him. He's immediately back into the fight. But he gets ultimated. And now you just look at his hit points. This is him lifestealing through it with the Mask of Madness. But as soon as he's done lifestealing, he's got all 3 of these dots on him. And he's just ticking away, hoping to get denied by his team, but he can't because I don't have Poisonous Scale on him. So let's talk about that. So Venomancer, oh, and there's a lot more team fighting and stuff that happens here, which is kind of cool. But the Poison Nova cannot deal lethal damage. Doesn't mean they can't die while it's on them. The whole point of Poison Nova is to get them super low. It's percent base damage. It's very long duration. The whole point of Poison Nova is get the enemy team low and stay low so that other things can kill them off. For yourself, those things that can kill them off are Plague Wards you've placed before that are like max distance, because, I mean, any Plague Ward I have out here and we fight over here means anyone trying to retreat is going to get ticked down again. And at max level, once I start leveling this up again, it'll last for 15 seconds. So this, if they have Poison Nova and Poison Sting on, Poison Nova will take them down to 1, Poison Sting will kill them. And then also Venomous Gale is your other way to actually kill them when they're taking down. The problem with Venomous Gale is this allows the opponent to deny them. I'm 80% sure, I meant to test this. Poison Nova itself does not allow the enemy to be denied. Because if you've played against a Queen of Pain or a Venomancer, you know that sometimes your teammates can kill you while you have a tick on you, a damage over time effect. But the one that allows them to deny you is the Venomous Gale. So if it's just Poison Nova and Plague Ward, they're going to die and the enemy team's not going to be able to deny them. It's a very small edge case kind of thing. For the most part, you're not really going to worry about that. Your goal is just get as many dots of them as possible. But this one falls off first, and these two last the longest. So just so you're not surprised into why people aren't denying each other or stuff like that, or why sometimes they get denied and sometimes they don't. Because it is a big difference between getting a kill and their opponent denying themselves. Anyway, that was a lot about that. Poison Nova, 2.5 minute basically cooldown at level 1. It's kind of a big deal. It's hard to commit it. Don't be afraid to commit it to a fight though, because you're very squishy and you die fairly fast. And in this game specifically, I have to make sure that I get it cast off before this this Chrono Ultimate happens. So as soon as I saw him looking my way, like he just started turning his character, the moment he did that, I'm popping the ult. If he doesn't end up blinking at me, I walk towards him to make sure that the Gale hits him because it's centered around me. Sorry, Nova. I'm using Gale. Poison Nova, because it's centered around you, just like Shiva's guard. So it creates a circle around you and extends out. So if you walk towards someone while casting it, it kind of increases the range a little. Anyway, everyone, I'm just making sure they have dots on them. Tick, 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 tick. Everyone's ticking down. This one's super dead before Tusk even does anything. And yeah, where am I at here on my notes? We haven't talked about any items yet, so we should talk about that. Before we do that, the ultimate is BKB piercing. I'll show you an example of that later. It says pierces spell immunity, no, but what it means is partially pierces spell immunity. So unfortunately, this is one where I think the tooltip should be the other way around. There's some effects that part of it pierces spell immunity and some doesn't. This one is really misleading because you think, oh no, I shouldn't cast this on a BKB target. Ignore the tooltip. It pierces spell immunity for your purposes. I'll explain the details here once we get to that later, but it just assume it pierces BKB. Alright, so where are we at? I'm walking around, we're fighting. First ultimate, then fight. Alright, we need to go talk about items and then we come back to the video clips. So, early game, Gale and Sting. It's really just getting the Sting. Second point in Gale is okay, but it's just Venomancer is such a strong hero because of the wards and the Sting. If fighting happening, wards give vision and do a lot of damage. If fighting's not happening, wards allow you to farm. Gale doesn't really do either of those. So maxing wards is very important to do. Items. Early on, regen. I will buy 9 or 12 tangos in the lane just because I'm super squishy and I always want to approach them to sting them and back off. And because the way that you win as a Venomancer in lane is attrition, you don't have nukes. So, like, I don't need to get any mana regen. All my regen is spent on health regen to keep the harass going. And then eventually I'll get these tranquil boots. And once I have the ring of regen, eventually the tranquil boots, I don't need the tangos anymore, right? So you want to buy as few tangos as possible overall, just for efficiency-wise, right, gold-wise. But you want to make sure you're max health and always available to trade with the enemy and get that sting going on them. So manage your regen. You're mainly just worried about health early on. You're going to get this Magic Wand, Tranquil Boost, and this Urn of Shadows. Urn of Shadows is another way that you can ensure a kill on someone that has your ultimate on them, because what happens is you cast your Nova, but you can't get a odd attack on them for poison sting, or you don't have a ward nearby to sting them. So what you'll do is you'll cast Urn of Shadows, which has a really long cast range, by the way, on that target that's running away. Like, as they're running away, you get this on them, so you have 8 more seconds of being able to kill them while your ultimate is ticking, because your ultimate does tremendous amounts of damage, and enemies will always run away from Poison Nova with very low hit points, and you're just trying to secure the kill on them. Most people, when they play Venomancer, just fail to secure the kill. They do a lot of damage with their Nova, and if people walk away with the 1 hit point, then it's as if they walked away with full hit points. So you got to make sure you get that final hit on them, and the Urn of Shadows is there to help you. It's also a little bit of mana regen, which you need. And right after you get the Urn of Shadows, this is about the time where you're going to start leveling Plague Wards. So you're going to get the Ring of Basilius for the Veil of Discord, so that you have the regen to continually place your wards. You just need enough mana to always cast your Plague Wards, and then once you start getting that mana regen solidified and the mana pool big enough, then we'll pick a point in our Poison Nova, because this thing costs 200 mana right off the bat, right? So we're spamming a 26 mana spell like every 5 seconds, so we have to have enough mana regen to be able to do this, and sometimes cast our ultimate. Yeah, so Veil of Discord is nice for regen, but it's also, you may have noticed a theme here, just lots of ticking dots on the opponent, magical damage on the opponent that lasts for a very long time. Oh, would you look at this, Veil of Discord. 18% increased damage from spells. Would you know that all of our spells count as spells? Duration 16 seconds. Duration 16 seconds. This has a duration of 20 seconds. Those line up fairly well. So the whole goal is, when you cast your ultimate, drop Veil of Discord on anyone you hit with it. This will amplify the damage so much and secure so many kills for you. Sometimes you'll just pop the Veil of Discord on someone that you're going to Venomous Gale. But if you've got Poison Nova up, try to line it up with the Veil with the Poison Nova. But this is going to be on cooldown a lot, so sometimes you just line it up with the Gale, because the Gale is a decent amount of magic damage too. We're not leveling up to last, but you know, by the time you get the Veil of Discord around here, level 10, 11, you're going to start focusing on this again. So aim to use, you'll pop your ultimate, you'll put the Veil of Discord on them, the enemy will drop to super low amounts of health. You'll die, you'll live. I don't, like, that part doesn't matter anymore. As long as you get all your spells off before you die, you have succeeded as Venomancer. And part of your spells is going to be this Veil of Discord to just decimate their ranks. Yeah. And then eventually you're going to get the Shard. The Shard is going to make it so that your Gale is a little more usable. It's going to increase the cast range by 400. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Aether Lens only, like, what, 220? Yeah. So this basically doubles the cast range on your Venomous Gale. And that's why we level it last. You will start leveling it about the time we can buy the Shard. And what the Shard does is drops down 2 wards to everyone we hit with it, 2 of the Plague Wards. So once we have our Shard, our Venomous Gale is going to start dropping wards next to our opponents we hit with it, which, as we said, wards is fantastic. Let's get back into another clip here. So we only got like 3 or 4 more clips here to watch, and then I think we're done sees here. We talked about the ultimate. We did the fight. Dewarding. So a couple cool things about Venomancer. With these little wards of his, actually let's do this as farming. We're going to talk about some of the things we missed in between. Farming patterns and dewarding with Venomancer. 1835. So this point, we're between fights. I'm just trying to pass some time until the next fight happens here. I think someone said they wanted to farm something. I have a little bit of extra time here. So, as you notice, oh, it's not going to show the box until I press play here. I put the ward just out of the box so it doesn't block the spawn, because these can block spawns. So when you're invading the enemy jungle, just drop them in there so that it stops the spawn sometimes. But, as you can see, we only have a very small clip of this because I did not spend much time in this game farming. You place a ward, You aggro the camp, you start walking away past your ward, you block another ward, and as you can see, these creeps are not hitting my wards. They're just walking past it and getting the poison sting. I don't have to micro my wards any. They very naturally are hitting the correct targets. And you just hit them and walk away. And this Venomancer can farm Ancients, like in triangle, super efficiently. Because what you do is... Whoops. Let me play this a little better here. What you do is you drop wards over here by this box. You pull the camp. You walk over here. You pull them through here. You keep placing wards between these two boxes, between the two spawns. And then you just pull one camp through them. And then you pull the other camp through them. And you just keep doing that. You can farm triangles or these jungle areas very efficiently. If you can get two camps next to each other, you just dump wards in between them and drag the creeps between them and farm really well. And like I said, I don't have a very good clip here of me doing that because this is literally the most I've farmed a jungle camp. I only got 2 wards down and did 1 small camp because immediately fights break out again and I have places to be and things to do, right? Places to be, people to kill, things to scout out, stuff like that. Yeah, but sometimes you'll find yourself farming up like your shard. Like, see, this is why I was willing to do it, is because I had a shard to farm. Or your Veil of Discord, or some of your later game items. Don't mind spending a minute or two. Oh, and another reason I didn't farm, Philosopher's Stone. I had plenty of gold. 2430. This is another thing that's pretty cool about Venomancer. So everyone that has a way for doing flying vision is inherently better at dewarding, right? We all know that a Crystal Maiden that can nuke the pillar will have a better time dewarding than someone who can't. And for Venomancer, you got something even better. You have these wards that can deward for you. So this pillar, I know it has a ward. I've known this for a while. And what you're going to see is me. I'm going to drop this ward. I have vision of it. And it's just going to wail away at it. I don't want to walk any closer. I don't want to get jumped by a Clockwork or a Faceless Void. And lo and behold, the thing dies. Now, I don't have a clip of it here, but earlier in the game, I did the same tactic, but I had to walk away. This is when I TP'd down to save Juggernaut. I did the exact same thing. Lich came and denied the ward, but even that's a victory enough because you still cleared the ward, and the Lich had to spend time over there trying to get the deny while a team fight was happening on the other side of the map. So, when in doubt, it's okay to risk it. I'd rather risk not getting the golden experience for clearing the ward than my own life. Because clearing that allows us to smoke. We go do another fight here. 25-30. And overall, just... it's a cool little way to not risk your own life for a very important part of the game. So as you're walking through an area, you can just drop ward, and you can just keep walking. You don't even have to pay attention to wards there or not, because your wards will do it. Alright, this is an example of kind of what I'm supposed to do in a fight. I'm placing vision. Oh crap, fight's breaking out. I need to commit my spells. Well, I got in position. My 2 priority targets for Poison Nova are going to be the Lina, because she's a nasty, very powerful being here, and or the Faceless, because he can't handle it very well. Like, dots are very good against the Time Walk. So, I didn't hit the Faceless, but I did hit the Lina, and look at all these things. So this is my sting, this is the ward sting, this is the Venomous Gale, this is my dot, this is my Veil of Discord, and you see, she came into this fight fairly healthy. Doot, 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 doot. She gets stunned out of position, she gets all the spells on her, my job is done. She's not even looking at her portrait, not realizing she is dead. If she had paid attention, she should have TP'd the moment she invis. As soon as she invis and hit this pillar, I think it was probably still too late. Like, look at this. She's dead. 25, 45, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. She had enough time to TP, but oops, she didn't notice. She's just dead. And me, I'm doing other things. And the time, like, I came in, I dropped all my spells on her, and I went elsewhere. Boop. She's dead. I walk away. Oh, sorry, I moved my camera. I walk away. I get in on the rest of the fight. I'm doing dewarding. I'm coming in for other kills. Oh, by the way, Lena's dead. Like, if anyone was wondering, man, where's Lena in this fight? It's because she's already dead. BKB's changed that landscape a little bit, but I do have a video clip where showing that BKBs don't change it as much as we really care. Let's see. 25, 50. Let's skip to the... We're going to do one more video before I show the BKB one. So, we're doing Roche. We know that they know. So what I do, I'm smoked. I come over here, I just start dropping wards. And I'm keeping my body here. I'm risking my body to make sure that I pop their smoke. Oh, I pop their smoke. Come back, I commit a spell on one of them. And my mistake here is walking in too early. And I ulted, you can see my mistake, I ulted the Snapfire and Clock. I don't even think I hit the Clockwork. Where's the Clockwork? I can click Portraits. I hit the Clockwork, so I hit the 2 supports. I committed a little too soon. Yes, I was here to clear the smoke, so I committed early. But I did not hit the Faceless, and I did not hit the Lena. And the fight goes okay overall. And I rescue my gem, so no big deal there. But it could have gone a lot better. What I should have done is pop the smoke like I did. So I'm coming over here. I'm setting up for the smoke. I don't want them to... I want to get the Aegis safely for the team. As soon as it pops and I commit the Gale, I need to walk away. This is a mistake. Me walking in for my ultimate is a mistake. I need to walk away, let the fight, break out a little more. I did not hit the Lena, and I did not hit the Faceless. I needed to wait until they both committed, come in, hit them both. And I've got this A on disc to make sure that I can do it even if I get chronoed. Because even though they have BKBs, this ultimate is BKB piercing, as I'll show you in the next video. 37... I can't read my own writing. Is that a 39? 3715 is what we're going to assume that says. So, enemy team just smoked. We didn't know that. We're about to smoke. Apparently it's not 15. Maybe it was 35 or something. Okay, so we know they're looking for us. We don't want to be here anymore. We just dewarded the area. I think we're about to smoke out. But they were already smoked walking at us. And, oh no, fight breaks out to the left. I come over here. I get the ult this time on the 2 correct targets. So you can't see it, but Lena got hit by it. It's very hard to tell, but you'll hit her at that range. She got hit, and Faceless got hit. And more importantly, what I'd like to show you here is the people I hit with it. Were both BKB'd. One BKB'd right away, and one BKB'd right after. So, you can't see it. Oh, why is it not showing? Faceless was BKB'd. Let's do it from... This is a visual bug here. So, he popped BKB, right? So you can see the BKB's on cooldown. He popped it. He's still affected by Poison Nova. He's not taking any damage from it while BKB is going, but now the BKB has ended, he's going to start taking damage from it. So, this lasts forever. He was like, oh man, we just won the fight, I'm safe. No. Like, he came in here, he gets 1 kill, he gets 2 kills. He's super happy about this. 1 kill, 2 kill. He even comes and kills me. But lo and behold, this guy's camera sucks. I'm going to use my own. Cool, he got 3 kills. But he's still dying. And I still have teammates alive. And with those teammates, he's ticking down, ticking down. Oh, what do you see? Do you see this Lena? Hey, look, guys. This Lena can't be in the fight either. Sorry. I just want to show this. So, it's very important to understand that the BKB piercing is a big deal. She tried to dispel it. It's not dispellable. She did get all the other dots off. She's still taking down. She kind of committed to a little bit. She Shadow Blades to avoid the Jug ultimate, but she kind of tries to recommit and realizes that she's at 0 hit points. She can't stick around here. She gets out. And this Plague Ward? Nope, she's invis. This Plague Ward? Yep, it hits her. Alas, it will not kill her. It looks like it's going to kill her. She's ticking down, but she's smart enough to dispel it this time. So, even though I didn't kill the Lina or the Faceless, technically, both of them were out of the fight because I got my ultimate on the correct targets. It's BKB piercing in the fact that it will affect someone that's affected by BKB, and I wish this replay didn't show it so poorly, but he did cast... Oh. Watch it. He did cast this BKB before the effect hit him. It's just a visual bug because of replays. So, BKB is in effect. Poison Nova is on him. Pierces spell immunity. No. Yes. Yes, it does. Pierces spell immunity. It just doesn't do damage during their spell immunity. Hopefully I've beaten that into you enough. It's BKB piercing, even though it says otherwise. So it's very important in the late fights to get it on the correct targets. And to make sure in these fights you're placing your wards, you're getting vision, you're making sure all your spells are going off. The Veil and the Gale are both dispellable and don't BKB pierce. But if you can land that combo on someone that doesn't have a BKB going, they will die to it, as you saw with that Lina. So it's pretty powerful stuff. Let me look at my notes, see if I missed anything. And then let's go back to the builds. Farming camps. Tick, tick, dead. The, if Venomancer had a catchphrase, I'd say it's tick, tick, dead. That's a catchphrase I give him. Max Plague Wards to make sure that our enemies can't kill them easily. And that if they are killing them, they're just wasting their time. We do that after we have enough points in Poison Sting for the Plague Wards to be effective. Yes, they go up in physical damage as you level them up. But mainly the biggest effect we want from them is this Poison Sting, which is a slow and a damage over time. Then we come back to the Poison Sting because it's so powerful. We'll eventually get 1 point in Poison Nova once we can afford the mana to cast it. Early on, it's more important for us to have Plague Wards going than Poison Nova. Because 1, Poison Nova is a max HP as damage sort of thing. And 2, it's just, yeah, got to be out of place for it, and team fights need to be happening. And team fights aren't really breaking out early enough in the game for, like, Plague Wards will give you more benefit than this Nova. And we level it up soon enough that we can get 1 cast out of it. And then by the time we're going to cast it the second time, hopefully we're level 12. And we'll get the better version of it. And then we come back to this Gale, which we're getting about the time we're getting a Shard. And we're also getting this level up as we're getting the Shard, so that it has an increased cast range. Because early on, it just has super short cast range. It basically doubles in range once you have the Shard. And then once you have the Shard, it also is dropping Plague Wards, which is super nasty in team fights if you hit multiple people with it. I didn't have a video clip of that. Talents-wise, we do go with Venomous Gale cooldown, because early on you will use it to help kind of slow camps as you're farming camps, or to slow people that are out of position. Like, you're using it as a slow, and then later on you're using it to spawn Plague Wards. So it's really important that you can get 1 or 2 casts of it during off in a team fight. So you want to make sure it's always available in a team fight. And that 18-second cooldown is kind of iffy, and bringing the cooldown in. 175 health is nothing to scoff at. It's just more Gale is better. Usually 175 health late game won't save you from dying, and you're going to be you're either going to commit and die, or you're going to be fighting the edge of the fight. So usually more health doesn't really help you as much as just straight like spell cooldowns. And eventually this spell lifesteal is really good, because once you do commit, if you go tankier builds, or if you just you get your ult on a lot of people, this will kind of sustain you really long in the fight. Also, since Poison Sting, Venomous Gale are both affected by this, and you can cast those from the edge of the fight, this will just help sustain you on the edges of the fight when you don't get your ultimate, and then it'll help sustain you when you do have your ultimate ticking. And Poison Sting slow is not bad. I'm not going to say no to that. I personally enjoy being super healthy and enjoy the idea of lifesteal, because it helps bait people into trying to kill me. And you're just trying to get people to make poor decisions as Venomancer. We didn't really talk about this, but you know, if someone has a Plague Ward, you're like, man, this ward's annoying, and you go to hit the ward and it doesn't die. You're like, man, this is super annoying. I hate this Venomancer. Oh, there's a Venomancer. Go chase him, run after him. But to do so, you have to walk through all these Plague Wards, and then you get ultimated, and then you're out of position and you die. Like, people just get super annoyed with Plague Wards and Venomancer, and they hate all of his spells, and they just want to kill him, so you can bait people into poor decisions. And the spell life still helps with that. Level 20, I like both of these. Nova duration because, as you can see in those late game fights, that Poison Nova killed 2 of their cores. Like the Lina, all of the damage to her, like there was like 1 Omni Slash hit that hit her. Everything else was just Poison Nova. And then the Faceless, the Poison Nova did enough to take him down to 0 a couple times, but he had some life steal, and the Omni Slash hit him a couple times. Like, overall, I took his life to, like, Poison Nova will keep people low, even cores. So the extra duration is pretty legit. I just find that you're only going to get 2 or 3 casts of Poison Nova off, and the difference between a 20-second duration and 25-second duration won't net you that many kills because 20 seconds is already very long. So I just find that the more Plague Wards is better. Either one's very viable, though. Plague Wards wins you a lot of games without being flashy about it. And then, again, Poison Nova, 100 attack speed, sure. This part does not pierce BKB, so that's why I don't value it very high. And if you check the win records on Dota buff and stuff, it's like, sure, the attack speed is nice if it's affecting someone, but it's so narrow where Plague Ward hit points times 2.5, like, people are really not killing your Plague Wards anymore. And, 2.5 more damage, that's turning these up to 100 damage a hit instead of 40, so Plague Wards become very obnoxious, and in the late game fights with your Shard, you're creating 2 Plague Wards per person you hit, so it's much more valuable. Items, I apologize if the video is longer, I just really like talking about Venomancer, apparently. Normal support items, Glimmer Capes, 4 Staffs, those are pretty straightforward. Blink Dagger, this one's really good for if you need some sort of initiation in the fights, or they're kind of balling up and you just want to land your ultimate on multiple heroes. It's really good for lining up with your ultimate. Usually if you go Blink Dagger, you'll eventually get an Ags as well, just because that's the reason you have the Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger can also be paired with your Venomous Gale, because Gale is a 50% slow. That's not nearly as effective as if this was a Blink Dagger on a Shaman, a Shadow Shaman with like the Hex and the Shackles and stuff. Mainly, if you're getting a Blink Dagger, it's for the ultimate, your Poison Nova. So that you can come into a fight a little late because they're all balling up. You blink in, you ultimate everyone, and they're all going to die. Usually, yeah, talk about that. Spirit Vessel, if you got lots of charges from Urn of Shadows and people have a lot of regen, Spirit Vessel just pairs very well with your kit. You have a lot of these spell damage dots, and you don't want, like, if someone's going to survive it, it's because they have like a Heart of Tarask or a super high regen hero, and Spirit Vessel kind of says, no, thank you. You are going to stay dead. Please, thank you. Okay. Eternal Shroud, it's the lifesteal. That's one big reason for this. Shroud or Pipe are both just good team items that you can carry fairly well. I'll get Pipe a lot just because I'm alive for most of the fight, and for the parts of the fight that I'm alive, most of the spell cast, like, you know how fights go. The more it degenerates towards the end of the fight, the more likely it's just the carries duking it out, or some of the tanky heroes walking away. Not many spellcasters left alive as the edge of the fight. So you're normally alive long enough to have this Pipe be pretty useful for your team. Or the Shroud, if you're really in the thick of it and doing a majority of your team's damage, or if you have like an Ag Scepter or something, then don't be afraid to get the Shroud, and you can just be up in the team fights, like in their faces, and as long as you have all your dots ticking on them, you're going to stay super healthy. Lotus Orb, just a generic dispel and a great support item. Sanj and Kaya, this is just kind of in the I'm in your face kind of thing. Sometimes Venomancer, if you get big enough, you're just in people's faces and you're life stealing, and you just want to make sure you get your spells off. Kaya, the Sanj kind of helps with that. The Kaya amps your spell damage. So of all the Kayas, the Kaya Sanj is the one that fits your kit best. So this is spell amp and survival. Boots of Bearing, just because it's an upgrade to the Tranquil Boots. Also, once you've committed all your spells, you want your team to be able to chase down your targets and not let them get away. So the Boots of Bearing kind of helps with that. Like, hey guys, we're committed. Like, you pop your ultimate, you pop your Boots of Bearing. Like, you want everything to happen then. Ag Scepter, pretty straightforward. Your ultimate does more damage and happens more often. Shiva's Guard, this goes along the lines of that Spirit Vessel. Since you're doing this ticking damage, the reason they're going to live is because they have regen or lifesteal or something, and the Shiva's Guard helps prevent that from being their cause of survival. It's also just another good slow. This pairs really well with the Blink Dagger. You blink in, you Shiva's Guard, you ultimate. Shiva's Guard and your ultimate have the exact same cast pattern too. They both do that ring effect, so like it doesn't feel awkward to cast it, because if you're in position to cast your ultimate, you're in position to use the Shiva's Guard. So that's yeah, that's pretty nice. It's also just a good survival item. It's mainly just for the healing reduction and the slow, which pairs really well with your stuff. And Octarine Core, this does not affect the range of your ultimate. The reason you get it, though, is just because Plague Wards are very useful. You're recasting those a lot. If you're seeing yourself casting a lot of Venomous Gales in fights, like onesies or twosies of these, Octarine Core can help you cast another one in a fight. You're just getting more long-term harass going on, and also just, you know, will lower the cooldown of your ultimate. But this is mainly if you're taking like long, drawn-out fights, or you're scouting out the jungle a lot and you just need Plague Wards to happen more often. Kind of a luxury item. It's just because I like to have multiples of 4 for my items, and it is useful. It's not highest on my list, but I mean, Kaya and Sange and Octarine Core are just generically powerful items. And the rest of these I feel like I explained pretty well. I will spend a couple times talking about these neutrals. Early on, you want the cast range to get your wards placed safely because you're super fragile, and also your Gale range. Same kind of thing with the telescope. And then otherwise, it's spell damage or mana regen, right? You're not relying on your auto attacks. Your wards are doing all your auto attacks for you, so Philosopher's Stone super easy. And then mobility and cooldown reduction. You just want to be able to not commit to the fight, and when you do commit to the fight, you want it to last like 20% duration increase on your ultimate. Man, that's pretty cool. Timeless Relic is the end-all be-all of a good Veno game, but for the most part, you just want range, mobility, and cooldown reduction in your neutral items. Yeah, I think I babbled to the max extent I can for Venomancer. Your goal as a Veno is to harass the enemy, anger them, frustrate them, get them to make poor decisions and to take bad fights. And in those bad fights for them, it's bad because you got all your spells off, including your ultimate. Your team came in to help out because they had plenty of warning with your wards, and the whole enemy team dies. You probably die in the case as well, but you know what? Anytime you can trade yourself for 2 or 3 of the enemy, I'll take that. And that's all I got for you guys today. And I will catch you later. Peace.